Hey everyone, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another wonderful vid. This is going to be part one of my series of the top 50 heavy metal albums in my collection. I'm not saying that these are the top 50 of everyone, definitive, it's or most influential or anything of that nature. Basically, these are just my top 50 albums in my collection, right? Period. Now, I did have a few rules for this. The primary rule for this was I only wanted to have one album per band because I didn't want this list to be dominated by any one band. I wanted to showcase as many different bands as I could in this. So, again, one album per band. And the other rule was I wanted to do bands. I didn't really want to do too many solo artist, but there is one in this, and I'll explain why he's in there as we go through this. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this. Of course, this is part of, this being February of 2020. This is part of, the 50th anniversary of metal and my 5th year on YouTube. So, let's go ahead and just start diving into this. So, obviously, we're going to start with number 50, and we're going to work our way up. So, for number 50, I chose Prong's Cleansing. This is my favorite Prong album that I own. Now, whether this is their best or not remains to be seen, but I only have like 3 Prong albums, so this is just the favorite one that I personally have. I think it's awesome. I think it's a great mix of just real heavy groove metal with a few industrial elements thrown in. This is absolutely fantastic. Cleansing by Prong, absolute killer album. Oh, and another thing I forgot to mention: the distance on this list, like all of these albums that I'm going to show off, I think they're all fantastic. And the distance between number 50 and number 1, yeah, there's some distance, is how much I like them, but I like all of these an insane amount. So anyway, let's go off and show off number 49. That's Cataclysms of Ghosts and Gods. And they are an absolutely amazing death metal outfit. Got a lot of melody in their music, and this is just... Cataclysm is a absolutely fantastic death metal band that if you're at least somewhat a fan of the genre, you definitely owe it to yourself to give Cataclysm a listen, and this album is just absolutely amazing. Moving on, I guess number 48 at this point would be Communic, Payment of Existence. And Communic is an absolutely fantastic, what's the word I'm looking for? Very melodic, heavy band. And absolutely, this is an absolutely killer album. Next one we're going to show off here is Dragon Forces, Inhuman Rampage. I'm sure most of you are probably familiar with Dragon Force, and this is my favorite. They're a fast, well done speed metal band. Absolutely fantastic speed / power metal, whatever you want to call them. Absolutely fantastic album. Moving on. Next one is, and I don't have a lot of these this band's discography, unfortunately. Again, this is a band I really like, but I only own a few of their albums. Flotsam and Jetsam self-titled album. I think this is from 2016. This is absolutely killer. Just an awesome modern thrash record, for lack of a better term, from one of the greats of the genre. This is absolutely killer. So there you go, Flotsam and Jetsam self-titled album. Moving on from there, we got this, Propane. They're basically, it's a self-titled debut. And how I would classify this music, if you're not familiar with Propane, is they have some hardcore elements in it, but I wouldn't really call this thrash metal. It's definitely metal, but it's not thrash. Maybe crossover metal. I don't know. Just do yourself a favor. Give this band a listen. You'll probably like them. They've got definitely some urban influence, and I mean that in a good way, kind of like Suicidal Tendencies. They don't sound anything like Suicidal Tendencies at all. I'm just trying to give some sort of a descriptor so you can kind of maybe figure it out for yourself. Just give these guys a listen. Moving on, I'm going to show off the only... I don't know if I would consider, this a solo artist, or the solo artist, but I'm going to show this off, and it's Ozzy's No More Tears album. This is my favorite Ozzy solo album, period. And the only reason I'm showing an Ozzy album at all is because he had, in addition to obviously being with Black Sabbath, he had a gigantic solo career, right? He still has one. A new album of his is coming out, I think, later this month, or it's either, or I don't know exactly when it's supposed to drop, but I know several songs from it have already dropped, and just from listening to those songs, it's not going to be better than No More Tears. But yeah, this is absolutely my favorite Ozzy solo release, and definitely belongs on this list. Moving on is a pretty obscure band that didn't get nearly the attention I thought they deserved when they were a thing. I'm not sure if they've disbanded or not. They may have by now. They probably have. Maybe they're back together. Who knows? But Galactic Cowboys, Machine Fish. Basically, think of the most melodic metal you can think of that's still really heavy, and that's what it is. I mean, they've got these soaring vocal melodies and they got really nice melodic guitar work. They're an absolutely fantastic band, and they're also very fast and heavy. Check them out, Galactic Cowboys. Moving on from there. Now we're only two more in this list of the bottom 10, and how even all these albums are absolutely amazing. So next one is Evile's Enter the Grave. I have most of Evile's discography, but their debut is still my favorite. I just love the re-thrash sound. Absolutely adore Evile. There you go. Hence they're on the list. And then lastly, rounding out the I guess this would be what, number 40? Or is it 41? 51. Whatever. The last one is this. I guess I'll have to do the math before I title the video. The last one I'm showing off in this grouping is Pyramazes, Disciples of the Sun, and this is my favorite Pyramaze album. They are, again, just a very heavy, melodic, epic metal sounding, or epic metal band, I would call them. Absolutely fantastic, and they deserve lots and lots of praise and love because they are absolutely fantastic. So that is the bottom 10 there, and I'm just looking at the rest because I'm just going to record all these in a row. I'm not going to release these all on the same day, but I'm recording them all at the same time. And I think you just saw the most obscure bands, because all the rest in the top 40 aren't super obscure. Well, maybe there's a few that'll throw you off a little bit, but I'm sure that most of you have heard of most of the other bands that I'm going to show off from here on out. But I just wanted to give the due to all these albums, because I think all of these are absolutely amazing albums and amazing accomplishments and achievements. And even for, quote, this bottom part of the list, I think all of these albums are absolute grand slams. So that's pretty much it. Thanks so much for watching. Of course, tomorrow you're going to see the next 10. And that's pretty much it. As always, live long and prosper.